Welcome to Deep Thought. There's a motive behind every word spoken. I want y'all to think about something. 99% of the population, when they say something, there's some meaning behind it. There's some type of motive. It's never random. It's never random. The only exception, I did say 99%, only exception may be someone on the spectrum who might speak random words. That's the only exception. And even with that, I haven't explored that area too well, so I'm not sure about that. Because even someone who lists themselves as being on the spectrum, there can be motives behind their words as well. And why do I say that? Nothing's random. Nothing is random. If you want to know about a person, listen to everything they say. Listen, just listen, even if it's seemingly irrelevant. A person, listening to a person can tell you all about them. It can tell you what's important. It could tell you how they think of you. It could tell you what they want from you. It's very important. Let me use a relationship example. And I've used this before on my men's channel, but it's appropriate for this occasion. There was a woman I was talking to, and it was mainly on that friendship thing, at least from my point of view. But then one day she was talking, and she was like, oh, it'd be great to have a friend just to have sex with, and with no strings attached, just a friend. I was like, okay, she just randomly came out, just said that. I didn't say anything to lead to that. Oh, she wants to get with me. So I talked to her the next day and said, let's go to a motel. And before I barely got it out, she's like, yes. And I was just like, okay. I knew what she wanted. If you listen to anyone, now that's a relationship example, but then you can, if you just listen closely, because there's a motive. Why are they speaking it? What is communication? Well, it's verbal communication. That's conscious communication. When you say something, it's not just random. It's never random. Now, whether it's affecting another person or something, that's something else. You could be saying it to yourself. But then, even if you look at someone, let me use another relationship example from my men's channel, the damn principle. I've told guys I'm not big on approaching, but if you see a woman, she's very attractive, you say, damn, approach. Now, what is that? What is that? That is definitely a motive. You know, there's something behind you saying it. What was the thing? Oh, that woman was attractive. That's very important. That's very important. Or if you were to say certain words to someone. Now, women especially know this because a woman could say a simple word and it means three different things. So why is she saying it? What's her tone of voice? What's the energy behind it? And some men can do that as well. Like you say certain things or you ask certain questions. You know, and I remember I got pointed out to this whole principle by a friend of mine back in the day, because he said, Rom, you never ask random questions. He said he's highly intelligent, but he said when you ask questions, there's always some motive behind it. Let me see something. All right. I ain't going to edit that out. Just had to make sure my sound was being received on my receiver on here. But anyway, he was saying that I would never ask a random question. Everything I would ask or say had a purpose, had a meaning. And that's everybody, even if they're not conscious of it. It was like, why are they talking about this particular thing? Like if you hear somebody all of a sudden they talking about something, it's like, this doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's important to them. Now, if it's totally irrelevant, well, that's important to them, but I'm gonna get into that irrelevant thing in the next episode, but it still means something to them regardless. You know, like I said, if they talk, what do people talk about? Like if you're around anybody, what do they generally talk about? Because 99% of people will talk about something that's relevant to them. If they talking about something, what's important? What are they focused on? You know, what are they talking about? Like, are they talking about the movies? Are they talking about sports? They talking about relationships. What's important to them, you know? And if you listen to them, then that can tell you about them. Because even when people try to hide behind a mask, they'll get themselves away. Because why would they ask about something in particular if it's not important to them in some way? Even if it is, it could be, you know, even if it's some small thing. Well, it's important to them. It's important to them. And like I said, in the next episode, I'm going to say, well, if it's not relevant, don't focus on it as much. But that's just me. But it's still important to them. You know, it tells you about, like people tell on themselves. What do they say? You know? Like, what if you're in a relationship with a bad person? They're gonna say stuff that's gonna give an indication of where their head is at. If you're willing to listen. If you don't let your perception, see how I bring that back to what I was talking about yesterday? Interfere with what they're actually saying to the point you come to an inaccurate conclusion. That's the thing. You have to pay attention. You have to. There's a motive. Why are they saying it? People are always going to do that. You know? Like, learn to listen. Learn to listen. Learn to kill that your self-beliefs and your perception. Just listen. You know? And part of this, I'm going to tell you what. I've told people that, you know, one of my jobs, I worked as an investigator. Also as a journalist. Kind of an investigative journalist, too. 1,000 jobs. The thing was, you learn how to find out stuff from people is just simply listen to them. And they'll tell you a lot. In fact, I'll give you a great example. For those who saw the Avengers movie, back in 2012, the first Avengers movie, Black Widow, she demonstrated that ability twice. You know? Because she was just acting innocent and letting them talk. In fact, I'm going to give you something with that. But let me finish that thought about the Black Widow in those movies. She was getting information out of first a general and then Loki by just letting them talk. She would throw out a little bit of stuff and then she was able to say, oh, okay, this is what they into. This is what they doing. And here's the thing too. As I said before, when I was another job working in the government, I actually had a seminar on negotiation, train negotiation. And I remember we would practice against each other, you know, and me and this attorney, we got beat by this real quiet attorney who was in a wheelchair. One, our perceptions messed us up because we thought, oh, she's just innocent. She ain't that, man, oh my God, she was perfect. She was perfect, you know? So our perceptions of her led to the conclusion, oh yeah, we got this. She just in the wheelchair, real sweet nature. Damn, she was cold-blooded. Oh, she's an expert. And she was an attorney herself, and her negotiation skills were crazy. But one of the things she did, she just stayed real quiet. And that's actually a negotiation thing. Somebody talking, you just let them talk. And in fact, there was another guy who did something for us, and he had worked at the White House on, I'll just say, a high-level case. And he said the two greatest words you can use for negotiation are, huh? That's one. And then the second one is, what? You just let them talk, and then somebody will tell you stuff, you know? And that's the day, I'm going to tell you what, let me bring that back around to what I did yesterday when I talked about that perception. See, some people don't know me. I can really play dumb. I can get real quiet and play dumb, and then I'll let them tell on themselves. I do that same thing I learned. I'll do that same thing Black Widow did. I'll be like, oh, really? Oh, yeah. And they'll tell me everything. So I'm like, oh my God. But then I know everything they talking. I was like, okay, that's the motive. Okay, that's what they want. That's what they're interested in, bro. Oh, man. Yeah. I know some people gonna watch this. Your perception gonna change. Some people, they're gonna be like, wait a minute, Ron a lot sharper than I'm giving them credit for. Oh, man. You know, there's a like a fantasy it goes over my mind. Like if I got into acting or something and playing in that movie, The Usual Suspects, and Ron being Kaiser Soze. That's just a tangent, y'all. Yeah. Oh, is it? Anyway, that's all I had. But seriously, think every time somebody says something, there's a motive behind it. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. I'll give you this much. Everything I do, even if I'm joking, there's a motive. Yeah, have a good day now.